Hi, welcome to Roy's Game Table. Today we have Kang the Conqueror against Captain Marvel and Iron Man. So pull up a chair and let's see what happens. Alright, so we got everything set up and ready to go. And one thing you may notice is I'm going to be playing today with two heroes instead of one. I normally only play with one hero because that's just how I like to play the game. But with Kang, if you haven't watched any videos about Kang or if you haven't played Kang, in his middle stage, I'll call it, he splits the heroes up and they have to have their own game area where they can't help each other. You may have more than one player, like in this case, when I get to the middle stage, Iron Man and Captain Marvel will be separated in timelines, so to speak, and they won't be able to help each other. They'll be fighting their own version of Kang, and you'll see how that works when you get to it. But that's the reason why I'm doing two heroes today, because if I just did one, you really wouldn't get to see that, how that works, and that is one of the unique things about this particular scenario. So I decided to go ahead and use two heroes today, and I am playing on standard. And I have the standard set and the temporal set, which is modular set, which is recommended for the encounter deck. And I've got everything set up. As you can see, Kang comes in with a tough, so I keep that in mind, knock that off before I do a bunch of damage. And let's go ahead and get started. I've already done my mulligan and my draw. And I like to usually spread out my cards so you can see what I have, but I'm not going to really be able to do that much today because of the two heroes and just the space I have on my table. So I went ahead and did my mulligan, and we'll start with Captain Marvel. She does have her energy absorption. I have three allies: Spider-Woman, Daredevil, Mockingbird, and a Beat Cop. I got a lot of good cards, but I think I want to try to get some allies in. And the first thing I'm going to do is put Spider-Woman in. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is use her commander ability to let her draw a card, and it's going to be another. So I got both Power of Justice cards in my hand, so I will probably be putting Daredevil in. I'm going to put Spider-Woman in for with the energy absorption, and you know, she comes in with 2 health. Normally you're not supposed to, I think you're not supposed to put health on it. And all my playthroughs, I bring in the allies with health and count down, but normally I think they're supposed to come in with nothing, and as they take damage, you put damage on them. I just do it the other way. I do it backwards, and I'm going to continue to do that. So I hope that's okay. But anyway, Spider-Woman come in with energy absorption. I am going to put in Daredevil with the 2 Power of Justice cards. Okay, and Daredevil will come in with 3 hit points. And oh, by the way, when Spider-Woman comes in, she confuses Kang. And unfortunately, there's nothing to take off on for Kang with Daredevil or Spider-Woman. So I'll just have Spider-Woman hit for 2, drop her to 1. And so that she can knock the tough off. And then I'll have Daredevil hit for 2 to drop him down from 24 down to 22. He does come in with 12 hit points per player. So that will drop him down to 22. And then I'm going to flip Captain Marvel and have her attack for 2. So now she's down to 20. And I'm going to just hold on to this Beat Cop and Mockingbird. Maybe I can get both of them in. Kind of doubtful, but we'll see what happens. But that's the end of her turn. And now we're going to go to Iron Man. I'm going to go ahead and start with his futurist ability. He gets an Energy Barrier, Stark Tower, or a Repulsor Blast. I'm going to take the Stark Tower. And I'm going to go ahead and put that into play using Mark V Helmet and Repulsor Blast to pay for Stark Tower. And then I'm going to use Stark Tower to pull the helmet back out. And let's see, I'm going to put his helmet in. And I'll do that with the Power of Protection. And then I'm going to put in Electrostatic Armor with the Power Gauntlets. I'm going to hold on to Nick Fury. And I'm going to leave him as Iron Man, as Tony Stark for one more turn. Because the villain's confused, so he won't put any threat here on the scheme. And she's in hero form, so I think I'm pretty good. And I am going to call that good for him. So I'm going to ready everybody up and draw everyone back up to their hand size. For Iron Man, Tony Stark will be 6. Captain Marvel will be 5. Okay, so started the main villain phase. We put 2 threat on the scheme. All right, and then he will attack Captain Marvel, and he does have a forced interrupt. When he attacks, I either place 1 threat on the main scheme or he gets +2 attack for this attack. I'm just going to take the +2 attack because Spider-Woman's going to take it. So it's going to be 2 plus 1 is 3, so total of 3, and that's going to knock her out of the game. And then he's supposed to scheme against Tony Stark, but he's confused, so he won't. All right, and they already have 1 encounter card because Kang's arrival, the main scheme comes in with that. So we'll deal them both another one. And Captain Marvel's first one is going to be pinned down. Okay, so when revealed, place 2 threat here for each obligation in place. So the good news is there is not 2 threat, or there aren't any obligations in place. So it's just going to come in with 2 threat. And then, but it is a crisis icon, so I got to deal with that before I can do anything else. And then her other one's going to be Energy Blast. She's a hero, so Kang attacks you. I was afraid that was going to happen. This time when he attacks, I am going to put a threat on the main scheme, so I was going to bring it up to 3. So he's just going to attack for 2, and she's just going to take it. It's going to be 2, just 2, so drop her down to 10. All right, and then Iron Man's encounter cards. His will be Temporal Shield attached to Kang. And when Kang is attacked, discard Temporal Shield, prevent all damage from this attack, and deal 1 damage to the attacker. Max 1 per attack. Okay, so I got to keep that in mind, that when I attack him, it comes back. All right, and then his other encounter card will be the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And so, you know, Kang is a time-traveling person. He brings a friend with him, and it is this T-Rex. He comes in with toughness and 6 health. So now Iron Man has to deal with that. The good news is he doesn't scheme, so I could stay Iron Man 1 more turn possibly and not have to worry about it too much. But that is the end of the round, so Iron Man will be the first player in the next turn. And the first thing I'm going to do with him is use his futurist ability. Let's see, Repulsor Blast, Desperate Defense, and Defensive Stance. Doesn't matter. I'll just take the Defensive Stance because it's just going to be a resource anyway. I am going to use... I was going to use Stark Tower, but I'm not going to use it yet because I'm going to put in the Arc Reactor. And I'm going to use Rocket Boots and Defensive Stance to pay for that. Now I'm going to use Stark Tower to pull his Rocket Boots out and put it back into his hand. And then I'm going to use... I'm going to put in Endurance over here with 1 copy of his Rocket Boots. So that's going to bring him up to 12. From 9 to 12. And then I'm going to put the other copy of Rocket Boots in using Defensive Stance, and that's going to bring him up to 13. And I'm going to stay as Tony Stark for 1 more round, I think. So hopefully I can get Nick Fury in. And I do have a Powered Gauntlet in here as one reason, and a Rocket Boot. But anyway, I think I'll just stay as Tony Stark for 1 more round. See if I can't build him up some more. Hold on to Nick Fury. So now we're over to Captain Marvel. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is put in Skilled Investigator for Captain Marvel. And then I'm going to use Daredevil to remove this pin down side scheme. And when he gets rid of that, I'm going to use the 1 damage that he does to knock the tough off this T-Rex. And then, because after a side scheme is defeated, exhaust Skilled Investigator, draw a card. So I'm going to do that to draw her a card. So I got Spycraft. All right. And then I think I'm going to put in Beat Cop using Energy Channel, Counterintelligence, and Spycraft for those 3 resources, and hold on to Mockingbird maybe for another turn. And then when the Beat Cop comes in, I'll just exhaust it to remove 1 threat from his scheme. Okay. So that's going to drop it down to 2. And I'll just use a die to mark that I have the threat here. They're going to have Captain Marvel thwart for 2 on the main scheme. And that's going to be it. So both of them are gone. So we'll ready and draw everyone back up to their hand size. Okay, so start of the main villain phase. We got 2 threat that goes on Kang's arrival. And he is going to thwart, or he's going to scheme against Iron Man for 1. Give Kang a tough status card for the boost. Okay, so that will come in. But he only schemes for 1, so that's going to bring it up to 3 out of 14. And then he's going to attack Captain Marvel, but Daredevil is going to take that. So when he attacks this time, I'll just have to add the +2 attack. So it's going to be 4, 5, 6. So Daredevil's gone, and I'll move the Beat Cop down here. All right, so we'll deal him each an encounter card, and Captain Marvel's card is going to be it's a side scheme, Rampage. When defeated, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a minion is discarded. Put that minion into play, engaged with the player who defeated this scheme. Okay, so that's going to come in with, looks like 4 threat, just 4 threat. It does have an acceleration icon, so I keep that in mind. And then we have Iron Man's going to have another minion to deal with, Quick Strike, but he won't Quick Strike because I'm in Alter Ego. But he does come in with 2 health. All right, so now we'll go, the first player will go to Captain Marvel, and it will be her turn. Okay, for her, I think I'm going to put in Agent Coulson using Jessica Jones, Quake, and I guess Spycraft. And then I'm going to search a deck and discard pile for a preparation card, which will be Spycraft. And then I'm going to put that into play because I do have a spy character as Agent Coulson. I'm going to put that into play, I guess, over here with Mockingbird. And Agent Coulson comes in with 3. All right, and so I'm going to have the Beat Cop thwart for 1 here off the side, this side scheme. Agent Coulson will thwart for 2 off of the side scheme over here to drop it to 1. And then I'm going to have Captain Marvel, go ahead and thwart to get rid of this side scheme, which means she's going to discard cards from the top of the counter deck until a minion is discarded. Okay, and we have a Chitauri Soldier. A Force Interrupt. When Chitauri Soldier attacks you, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Take indirect damage equal to the number of boost icons. Ouch. All right, he comes in with 3, but we're done with this Rampage side scheme, and I'm going to go ahead and exhaust it to exhaust Skilled Investigator, let her draw a card, which is Crisis Interdiction. It won't make any difference. She really can't do anything with it. But there's that. And then over here for Tony, I'm going to start by putting in an energy barrier using Strength to pay for it. All right. And that's going to come in with 3 counters. And then I'm going to exhaust Start Tower over here to pull the top upgrade out, which will be my Rocket Boots, my other copy of Rocket Boots. And then I'm going to flip to Iron Man, have him attack for 1 to hit Kang. And see, let's see, when Kang is attacked, discard Temporal Shield, prevent all damage from this attack, and deal 1 damage to the attacker. So I'm guessing I won't be able to take off the tough, but that's okay. So I'm going to discard the Temporal Shield. And then it's supposed to prevent all damage from the attack and deal 1 to me, but I'm actually going to use a counter from the energy barrier they just put in to prevent a damage and put it back onto an enemy, which will be Kang, and knock this tough off once and for all. And then I'm going to ready Iron Man, have him thwart for 2, his helmet for 3, to get the main scheme back down to 0. I'm going to put in Nick Fury with the 4 resources I have over here. And when he comes in, I'm going to have him hit the Tyrannosaurus Rex for 4, which will drop him to 2, and then Nick Fury will attack for 2 to get rid of the T-Rex. And that will drop Nick Fury down to 2. And it looks like that's going to be it. So we are going to ready everybody and draw back to their hand sizes. Okay, so the first part of the villain turn, 2 threat on the main scheme. And he's going to attack both of them this time because they're both in hero form. He'll start with Captain Marvel. And so let's see. I will place a threat on the main scheme, and so she only takes 2 damage. And so I'll just have her take it. It's going to be for 2, 3. So that's going to drop her down to 7. And then this Chitauri will attack. And let's see, when Chitauri Soldier attacks you, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Take indirect damage equal to the number of boost icons. All right, so it'll attack, dropping her to 6. And then 2 indirect damage. So Agent Coulson's going to take 1, and she'll take the other one, which will drop her to 5. All right, now we're over here. Oh, I forgot to ready Nick Fury, because he's going to take the next attack. I'm just going to have to do +2. So it's going to be 4, just 4 damage. And that's going to knock Nick Fury out of the game. And then the Ancient Warrior is going to hit Iron Man for 2, but I'm going to use an energy barrier to prevent 1 of that. And so he'll take 1 damage down to 12. And I'll put 1 back onto the Ancient Warrior, so he's down to 1. All right, so we'll deal encounter cards. And Captain Marvel will go first, and her card is going to be weakened. And it is an obligation, so forced response after you use a basic hero power, take a damage. And then I have to be an alter ego, discard a fist resource in your hand to discard that obligation. All right, so Iron Man's is going to be, he's going to have 1 as well, an obligation. Discard the highest cost card you control, then place it face down under this card. And that is going to be either my energy barrier or my arc reactor. It's not going to be my arc reactor, so I'm going to have the energy barrier go underneath it. And then place it face down under this, and I have to use an alter ego, an energy resource, to discard this obligation, then discard each card face down under it. So, man, that could have been bad. I could have lost my arc reactor, but fortunately I had that energy barrier. So we are going to go, and Iron Man will go first. And I have my Mark V armor, so I'm going to put this in play over here using Genius, and I think Med Team for that. So that's going to be 3, and it will give him 6 hit points. So he's going to go from 12 to 18. And then I'm going to put in Brother Voodoo up here, because I got a lot of cards in the way, but put in Brother Voodoo with Power of Protection and a Preemptive Strike. So that's going to be 3. And he's going to let me search an event card. Search for an event card, which really doesn't matter a whole lot right now. I can't use any of it, but it will. Search my top 5. It will let me at least have an event card for next time if I stay hero form. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's see. I'll take a Supersonic Punch. And then I got to shuffle the rest of these back in. It looks like he's about to run out of his deck, though. But I'm still not done. I got more to do with him. And so we shuffled that back. I'm going to have him attack for 1 to get rid of this Ancient Warrior. Then I'm going to have the Arc Reactor ready him to thwart for 2. 3 on the main scheme to drop that back down. And we are good with Iron Man. So he'll be done for the round, or for that phase. Now we're back over to Captain Marvel. I'll just hold on to Agent Coulson and attack with him eventually. But I think what I want to do is I want to use the energy resource here to discard that, heal her 1 back to 6, which will allow her to draw a card to replace it as another crisis interdiction. Okay, and then I'm going to do a concussive blow using, I think, Beat Cop, crisis interdiction, and the other concussive blow. And so I did use a physical resource. So I'm going to confuse Kang and deal him 3 damage because of the concussive blows. That's going to drop him down to 17. All right, and then I'm going to flip with Captain Marvel and heal her for 4, back up to 10. And let's see, I'll have the beat. Oh, there's nothing to take off. Now I could go ahead and get rid of this weakened card with my Photonic Blast, and I may do that. I hate to give a Photonic Blast, but I'll just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to discard a physical resource to discard the obligation, and we'll ready everyone and draw back into their hand size. Okay, start of the main villain phase, 2 threat here, and he will attack Iron Man. So I'll just have Iron Man take it, but I'm going to place a threat on the main scheme so that he only attacks for a base of 2. It's going to be 2, 3. So that's going to drop him back down to 15. And then he's supposed to scheme against Captain Marvel, but he can't because he's confused. All right. And then we'll deal them encounter cards. and Iron Man's encounter card will be Future Weapon. So we'll attach to Kang. When Kang attacks, the attack gains overkill. If this attack damages a hero, that hero is stunned. After this attack, discard Future Weapon. Okay, so I have to remember that. And then she will bring in a side scheme. It's the Rampage side scheme that we've seen before. When defeated, you have to discard to get a minion. And it comes in with 4. So let me find, I don't have a lot of 3s, so I'll just do 4 1s. And that's going to do it. So we are back. That was Iron Man was first that time, so Captain Marvel will be first. And the first thing that I'll do is draw a card for her. So I got a lot of cards. I've got a lot of good options here. And I just remembered I forgot to have the Chitauri Soldier scheme. So there's going to be one more threat placed on the main scheme for that. So I think we're good there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've drawn her card. I think I'm going to have her put in Alpha Flight Station up here. Let's see, we'll put that there. And I will use Cosmic Flight to pay for that. All right, I want to put in an energy channel. And I'm going to use energy and energy absorption to get 5 counters. And let's see, I'll just put a die on there to show that I have 5 counters on it. And then I'm going to flip to Captain Marvel. And I'm going to have the Beat Cop thwart for 1 to get rid of a threat on this side scheme. And then Captain Marvel will attack for 2 on this Chitauri Soldier to drop him down to 1. I'm going to go ahead and use the energy channel to do 10 damage to Kang. That will drop him down to 7. All right, and I'm not gonna do anything with Agent Coulson. I'll hold on to Nick Fury and the Photonic Blast, I think. So I won't use my Alpha Flight Station yet. And that's going to be it for Captain Marvel. I'm gonna put in Pepper Potts. She'll be way over here. You can't see her probably, but I'm gonna put her in with electrostatic armor and energy for 3. And then I'm going to exhaust her to put in the power gauntlet, his power gauntlets. All right, using the energy to pay for it on the top. And then I will use her power gauntlets to take out this Chitauri Soldier for Captain Marvel. And then let's see, I'm going to have him thwart for 2, 3 on this side scheme over here. And that's going to remove it from the game, and I'll have to discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until I get a minion. So let's do that. Discarding cards till I get a minion. And it's going to be a Macrobots. They have Guard and Retaliate 1. So I got to keep that in mind. They come in with 4. Okay. And then I'll use the Arc Reactor to ready him and thwart for 2 more on the main scheme to drop it down from 4 back down to 2. I want to hold on to Luke Cage and my Supersonic Punch. Maybe I can use both of them. So, okay, so start of the villain phase. This goes from 2 to 4. Got a lot of stuff out here on the board. I hope you can see it all. Iron Man's upgrades and Captain Marvel. But anyway, that goes up to 4. So he's going to attack. And he ran out of his deck. So he's going to have to deal with an extra encounter card this turn. But he's going to attack. And he'll attack Captain Marvel first. And this is going to gain overkill. So I guess it kind of wouldn't make sense for Agent Coulson to take it this time. So I'll just have Captain Marvel take it, I guess. And I'm going to have her defend to reduce all that I can. And she's going to be putting a threat on the scheme. So it's going to be 2, 4, 5. This card gains 1 for each obligation in your play area. She does not have 1. So it's just 2, 4, 5 damage minus 1. So she'll take 4 down to 6. All right. That wasn't too bad, I guess. And then this, and then let's see, if the attack damages a hero, that hero is stunned. So Captain Marvel will be stunned. And I think that's it. Then I have to discard the weapon. Okay, then as Iron Man gets attacked, and I keep forgetting the Brother Voodoo is in play. I need to use him for something, but I'm not going to have him jump in front of it. Iron Man has 15 health, so I'm going to put a threat. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, a threat on here, so it's up to 6. So he'll attack for 2, just 2. So that'll drop him down to 13. All right, then we'll deal out encounter cards. And Captain Marvel's will be an Ancient Warrior. So quick strike, come in, deal 2 damage to Captain Marvel, dropping her to 4. And then Iron Man's first encounter card he has to deal with is I forgot to take damage from this Macrobot. So he'll take 2 from that other Macrobot that was in. He's down to 11, but he's got another one in the game. So now he's got 2 minions, both with 4 health. And then the other encounter card is going to be Past Machinations. So in Site 1, place 1 threat on the main scheme. And so it's up to 7 out of 14. Then each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a different obligation and reveals it. Shuffle the encounter deck. Okay, well, I'll have Captain Marvel get the obligation she had earlier, which is weakened. And then let me look and see what's in the deck, and I'll pick one. And I'll have Iron Man also take a weakened. And so then I shuffle the encounter deck, and that's going to do it. So when she's going to probably flip, but when he uses a basic hero power, he takes 1 damage. Okay, so I got to remember that. All right, so we are back to the next round, and it'll start with Iron Man. All right, I think the first thing I'm going to do is put in Energy Barrier with energy. So that's going to come in with 3 counters on it. Okay, and then I'm going to thwart with Iron Man for 2 off the main scheme. And when I do that, he's supposed to take a damage, but I'm going to use an energy barrier to prevent that. Because when you take any amount of damage, remove 1 reflection counter, prevent 1, deal 1 damage to an enemy. I'm going to do that and deal 1 damage to this Macrobots here. And then I'm going to ready Iron Man and thwart again for 2. And I'm supposed to take a damage, but again, I'm going to use this, prevent it with this energy barrier token and deal the damage to this Macrobot. All right, and then I'm going to use Pepper Potts to generate the energy. So I'm going to do 2 and then 3, 4, I think, to put Nova into play. I don't know where I'm going to put him. I guess I'll put him up here and hope I don't forget about him. But I'll put him into play up there with 3. Come in with 3 health. And then I'm going to go Aerial using Unflappable for the mineral resource and use Power Gauntlets to take out this Macrobot. And then let's see here. I'll have his helmet thwart for 1 more to drop it from 3 to 2 on the main scheme. All right, I'm going to hold on to Supersonic Punch. And I'm going to have Brother Voodoo thwart for 2. He'll drop down to 1 and declare off the main scheme. So we're good there. And I'll have Nova attack the Macrobot for 2. It's going to drop him to 1 because of his consequential damage and the retaliate, but it will drop him to 2. And that's all Iron Man can do. So now we're back over to Captain Marvel. I'm going to have her beat Cop Exhaust and actually deal 3 damage to a minion. For each threat here, it's 3 threat. So I'm going to get rid of this Macrobots over here for Tony. So the beat Cop is going to have to be discarded. But I think she did her job pretty well. All right, and then let's see. I'm going to have her put in Nick Fury with Strength for 2, for Justice, and I really want to keep under surveillance for when she has to go by herself, but I don't want to lose Photonic Blast. So I'm going to spend those 4, and to bring him in, when he comes in, he's going to deal 4 damage to Kang, to drop him down to 3, 7 to 3, and then he's going to attack for 2 to get rid of this ancient warrior that I hope I didn't forget about when it was time for him to attack, but I can't remember. I think I did it. If I did, if I missed it, I'm sorry. There's a lot going on here, and I don't usually play with 2 heroes, so sorry about that if I missed it. But anyway, so Nick Fury is going to drop to 2. I think I will flip her to Carol Danvers and use the physical resource to get rid of weakened, so that I can discard her weakened obligation, and that's going to do it. So I will ready everyone and then draw back to their hand size. Okay, so starting the main phase, we put 2 threat on the main scheme, and he's going to attack Iron Man, and I'll just have Brother Voodoo take this. So it's gonna, I'll give him the +2 attack, so it's gonna be 4 attached to your identity. So attach your identity. When attached character would ready, discard this instead. Okay, I'll put that on top of Iron Man. So it's only going to do 4 damage to Brother Voodoo. And, oh, by the way, because he initiated an attack, I am going to use Nova's ability. And I'm going to discard one of my Power of Justice, making it energy, and deal 2 damage to Kang. And that's going to drop him down to 1. All right. So now he's going to scheme against Carol Danvers for 1. You are stunned, and she's already stunned. So you don't have to worry about that. Just 1 threat on the main scheme. All right, we'll deal out boost cards. Oops, wrong pile. And Iron Man's will be Time Travel Hijinks. Discard the highest cost card you control, then place it face down under this. That is not good, because that's going to be either Pepper Potts or Mark 5 armor. I can't afford to lose 6 hit points, I don't think. So, let's see. Spycraft, when you reveal an encounter card, so she can't use that on him. I'm going to have to get rid of Pepper Potts, I guess. No. Discard the highest cost card you control, then place, that's going to be Nova, because he's a 4. So, he'll go underneath Time Travel Hijinks. Well, I guess I get to keep Pepper Potts after all. I was hoping to leave Nova in the game to keep dealing damage every time he attacks, but it won't happen now. All right. And that's an obligation that'll stay in play. And then her encounter card is going to be Past Machinations. Each player searches encounter deck for a different obligation, reveals it. Okay, she's going to get weakened. And I'm going to hope that there's another one in the deck, but I don't think there is. Nope. There's not one in the deck. Let me check for the discard pile. All right, I'm going to do Stolen Memories for Iron Man, because there is an obligation I could use where I can't play hero-specific cards, but I want to be able to play hero-specific cards. So I'll just do this one. Not much fun either. Place the top 8 cards of your deck face down under this card. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So nasty. And then when this discards, those cards will go in this discard pile. But that's it, I think. And so we'll move over to Captain Marvel. All right, the first thing she's going to do is draw a card with her commander ability. And then I've already got a skilled investigator out. I'm going to use Alpha Flight Station, exhaust that to discard skilled investigator, draw 2 cards. Okay, so she's going to have to shuffle her deck, and she will get an encounter card next time. Okay, I had forgotten to discard Nick Fury at the end of the turn, but I did shuffle him into the deck, so everything's good there. All right, I get to draw 1 more card because of Alpha Flight Station, and it is a Spycraft. Okay, I'm going to discard Spycraft for the physical resource to be able to get rid of Weakened before she flips back over. I'm going to use her to heal, so she'll go back up to 8. And then I will flip her over to Captain Marvel. And unfortunately, she can't use her Photonic Blast, at least not to deal damage. So I'll put in a Cosmic Flight on her using Genius for that. And then I'll put in her helmet using crisis interdiction and counterintelligence, I guess, to pay for that. I'm going to discard this energy resource to heal her for 1, back up to 9, and to draw a card, which will be for justice. Okay, I'll just hold on to those. And still got Agent Coulson here to take damage for whenever that time comes. So that's going to be her turn. So let's see. Iron Man's going to attack. He's going to use his Power Gauntlet to attack for 1. And that is going to end finally stage 1 of Kang the Conqueror, and it says advance the main scheme to stage 2 at the end of the phase. I'm going to put in another energy barrier over here with the power of protection, and that's going to come in with 3 counters. And then let's see, the main scheme is going to advance, so I won't use an ability. Actually, I need to get rid of this identity thing. No, I need to get rid of this identity thing, but I'll just call it there. So I'm going to discard defensive stance, and then I'm going to leave him as Iron Man, leave her as Captain Marvel ready, and draw everyone back up, and this will advance. Okay, everybody, so he was defeated, advanced the main scheme, end of the phase. The player phase is over, so we're going to move to stage 2. And stage 2A says when revealed, place 1 acceleration token here. So I have that. I'll stay over here for now. And then discard each side scheme. There were no side schemes in play. Each player reveals a random stage 3A in turn order. Remove any unused stage 3 schemes from the game. So Captain Marvel will be first. Let me get the 3A side schemes. Let's see, they're over here. So we can either go to the Present Future War, the Realm of Ramatut, the Inexorable Fate, or the Chronopolis. All right, so I'm going to randomize these, and Captain Marvel is going to go to the Realm of Ramatut, or however you pronounce that, and Iron Man is going to go to the Chronopolis. All right, so I've got for her, let's see, when this one's revealed, create your own game area and place this scheme in it. Add Kang Ramatut to the game area and deal yourself an encounter card. Okay, so let's find him. It's the Egyptian looking guy, so she's going to have to deal with this guy right here. I guess I'll put him over here in front of her. And he comes in with toughness. And he comes in with 18 health. And the villain gets +1 attack for each obligation in play. And I guess that just means in her, it says in play, but I guess it just means her play area. I'm not real sure about that, because they're separated. All right, well anyway, so the Realm of Ramatut comes in with 1 threat on it for her. And I'll deal her encounter card. And then he gets the Immortus King. All right. And so let's see. He comes in with toughness as well. And the villain can't take damage while a minion is in play. And then I have to deal him an encounter card. Iron Man an encounter card. All right. And then his will come in with 0 on it. Okay, so we are in stage 2, and you probably have no idea what's going on because there's cards everywhere on the board. But Iron Man is by himself, and he has to fight Kang Immortus. And she's by herself, has to fight Kang Ramatut way up here. So let me move these up a little bit so that we can kind of see what's going on a little bit better. And here's Scheme 2B. That you join that area whenever you basically players cannot join this game area unless there are no other game areas remaining. When all the players have joined this area, advance to stage 4B, or 4A. So basically, they've got to take out Ramatut and Immortus in order to do it. And so now we'll move to the start of the villain phase, and we'll put one on the Chronopolis for Iron Man and one over here on the Realm of Ramatut for Captain Marvel. And she was the first player, so she's going to go first, and he's going to attack her. And it says the villain gets +1 attack for each obligation in play. Now, they're in separate game areas. She doesn't have any obligations in front of her, but Iron Man has 4. So I don't know if he gets 6 attack, basically, or if he only gets the 2 attack. I mean, I guess I'll just play that he gets 6 attack. So Agent Coulson, because it does say in play, it doesn't say in her play area. I don't know. So Agent Coulson's going to block anyway, so it's going to be 6, 7, 8, knock him out of the game. And then the Immortus is going to attack Iron Man. And let's see, he's going to attack for 2. And I'm just going to take it because I do have 2 energy barriers, so it's going to be an attack of 2, 3, 4. So a total of 4 damage. I'm going to use 2 energy barriers, 1 off of this one, which will remove it from the game. So this one will remove from the game, that's 1. And then 1 from this one over here that you can't see. But that's 2. So I'm going to prevent 2 damage, take 2 damage. It'll drop him down to 9. And 1 energy barrier knocks off the tough. And then the other energy barrier deals a damage, dropping him to 17 because it's different. It's, I think that's right. It's different instances of damage. So, you know what? I think that's right, but I'll just play that he goes to 18 in case I'm wrong. So I'll just leave him at 18, but I know the tough will come off. Okay, so now we'll deal each one of them an encounter card, and the deck runs out, and unfortunately the Master of Time says that when an acceleration token will be placed on another scheme, place it here instead. So instead of placing acceleration tokens on these 2 schemes that they have, I have to put 2 on the Master of Time. Okay, so there's the 2 acceleration tokens. So we got 3 on there. And we'll have Captain Marvel go first. And it's going to be Advance. Oh, by the way, I've got to shuffle. Let me shuffle this deck. Okay, so reshuffle the counter deck. We had an Advance. So he's going to scheme for 1. Give Kang a tough status card. He's already got 1. So he'll just scheme for 1, bring it up to 3. And then the next card will be Stolen Memories. Place the top 8 cards of your deck under this card. Not cool. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 underneath Stolen Memories. And then the next one will be Future Weapon attached to Kang. So this is where it does overkill. And I may just let this scheme go off. It'll give me a Dominion. But he's, you know, if the obligation thing is right, he's going to attack for 7, 8, 9 on her. And even though she's got the Cosmic Flight and Captain Marvel's helmet, I don't know that I want that to go off. So I may end up letting this Realm of Ramatut go off. But we got to do Iron Man's encounter cards first. Time Portal, Forced Interrupt. When this scheme is defeated, shuffle it into the encounter deck instead of discarding it. It comes in with 2 per player. And, you know, again, he is by himself, so I'm just going to put 2 on there. I think that's right. And then the other encounter card is Chitauri Soldier. And we've seen that before. So we'll put him over here. So he's got 4 obligations, a minion, and Immortus over here against him. And I think that's it. So we're going to move to Iron Man to go first. All right, I'm going to have Nick Fury come into play right here with 2, 3, 4. And so he'll come in, and I think when he comes in, I'm going to have him let Iron Man draw 3 cards. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. All right, and then he'll attack Ramatut, or he'll attack Immortus for 2. So that's going to drop Immortus down to 16 over here. And I don't want to forget about the Chitauri Soldier, but maybe I won't. And then I only have 1 card left, but I do have 3 Repulsor Blasts, and I should be able to play both of them. So I think I will go ahead and play a Repulsor Blast using Med Team. And there's only one card, so it is an energy, so that's going to be 3 damage to, I'll just do it to this Chitauri Soldier to get him out of the way. So I'm going to say that I was going to target the Chitauri Soldier, so I did 3 damage to him. I'll have to deal myself an encounter card and shuffle up Iron Man's deck. Okay, and then I'm going to play another Repulsor Blast using Desperate Defense to pay for it. So I'll discard 5 cards. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I got 2, 4, 6. So I got 3 energy resources. That's 6 plus 1 is 7. On to Kang Immortus. So that's going to drop him down to 9, from 16 to 9. And then I'm going to use Pepper Pots to generate the top resource and do another Repulsor Blast. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 2 energy resources, so that's 5 additional damage. So that's going to drop him from 9 down to 4. And then can't do anything with my Supersonic Punch. I will use a Power Gauntlet to hit him from 1 more to drop him down to 3. And then let's see, I'm going to use Iron Man to attack for 2, or to thwart for 2, to get rid of this side scheme that came in, and hope that I was right, that it only puts 2 on here, because again, he's in his own play area, so they're separated. I'm guessing he only puts 2 there. So that's going to get rid of that side scheme. He's supposed to take a damage because, and okay, the villain can't take damage while minions in play, this Immortus, but I did get rid of that Chitauri, so I'm good there. But he's supposed to take a damage from weakened. I'm going to use an energy barrier to prevent that damage and put it back on him. So that's down to 2. And then I'm going to ready Iron Man, but instead of being able to ready him, I have to, when an attached character is ready, discard this card instead. So I'll do that. And then I'll thwart for 1 more off of his side scheme over here, or off his main scheme over here, the Chronopolis. And that will be it for Iron Man. All right, we're at Captain Marvel. I'm going to discard a For Justice, use the energy resource to heal her from 1 up to 10, and let her draw a card. And it is going to be Beat Cop. All right, and then let's see. I think I'm going to attack for 2 to get rid of this stun. Oh, after a side scheme is defeated, exhaust Skilled Investigator, but that was in another play area, so I guess I couldn't do that. I am going to go ahead and flip her to Carol Danvers. I'm just going to let this go off and just move on to another stage. She'll get a King's Dominion. You'll see what that is in a minute. So at least you'll get to see what one of those are, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have her use her Commander ability to draw a card, and it is Concussive Blow. And then I'm going to exhaust Alpha Flight Station I'm going to discard one of my Beat Cops and draw 2 cards, Jessica Jones and Nick Fury. Well, I did all that because I want to get rid of this Stolen Memories, and which needs a mental resource, but that means I'm going to have to discard either Nick Fury or Spider-Woman. I really don't want to do either one. I guess I'll just discard Spider-Woman. So use as a mental to get rid of this. And then I have to discard this obligation, discard each face-down card underneath it. At least I get my cards back. All right, and let's see. I will use, for now, I will put Jessica Jones in play with an energy absorption. She'll come in with 3 health. All right, and I'll just leave her up like that for now and use her next time. And I think I'm just going to call it there. So ready, everybody, and end the phase. Okay, so started the main phase. We put 1 thread over here for the Chronopolis and 1 on the realm. So it brings up to 4. And he will, the Kang Immortus will attack Iron Man. And let's see, I think I will... actually, I am going to defend. And the reason is because I have a preemptive strike and I might be able to defeat him right here. So he's going to attack for 2, 3, 4. And I will use the preemptive strike and I guess a med team to pay for that. So I'm going to cancel those 2 icons. And that will drop him to 0. Okay, and so let's see. It was 4 minus 1 is 3. I took 2 out with the... So I got rid of it. It was 2 to 1. So Iron Man takes the damage down to 8. I could use the energy barrier, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it. And so when defeated, remove the Chronopolis from the game. At the end of the phase, join another game area. Okay, so we'll remove the Chronopolis from the game. And then at the end of the phase, join another game area. But he still has to deal with these 2 encounter cards. And by the way, I went through my deck again. So that's why I have 2 encounter cards. I'll have to draw a 3rd one. He'll have to deal with those. But, you know, we're good, I think, still. So, King Immortus will be done. Let's go over here to Ramatut. And he's going to scheme for 1, 2. And that's going to bring it up from 4 to 6. Which is not good because I wanted to get rid of it. And now maybe I don't have to with Iron Man coming over here. So, he'll scheme for that. And we'll draw her. We'll deal the Iron Man encounter card. We'll deal him 1. Iron Man's first encounter card will be Shadow of the Past. All right, so I'll have to get that out. Okay, so I got Whiplash out here, and I've got Imminent Overload. And so that will come in with 4 threat because he is still technically in his own game area. It says remove the Chronopolis from the game at the end of the phase, join another game area. So I'm still technically by myself. So it will not come in with 5, it will come in with 4. Okay, and then I guess that's right anyway. So his next encounter card is Macrobot. So another minions. Good thing these minions are coming out now because you can't deal damage to Immortus with a minion, but he's already been defeated. So I don't have to worry about that. And then the next card will be Assault. Now this is interesting. He has been defeated, but the villain attacks you. But like I said, he's been defeated. I don't know if I'm supposed to be attacked or not. I don't know what happens here. Because I just... I guess he still attacks you. He's still technically there. So we'll just have him attack. And I'll have Nick Fury take it. Because he's still over here. We'll just do that. 2, 3, 4, 5... And I guess Nick Fury came in on that last turn. There's a lot going on in this game, in this scenario I'm learning. With especially 2 heroes. You got all kinds of obligations out, all kinds of cards out. I mean, as you can see, it looks like it's cluttered. I've got it as tight and as organized as I can get. But there's just a lot to go on, a lot to keep up with. Some rules questions that I'm not sure about, like just right there. I actually defeated him with that preemptive strike. But, so I don't know if he's out of the game or not. It doesn't say that he leaves yet. So I just went ahead and attacked him. I can't remember if Nick Fury came in on my last turn or the turn before, but I'm going to say he was my last turn. And anyway, Nick Fury took that damage. So we're good there. Let's do Captain Marvel's encounter card, and it's going to be Temporal Shield. So we'll attach that to Kang. Okay, so for Captain Marvel, I'm just going to leave her on this Captain Marvel side, heal her up to 12. So that she can have full hit points. I'm not going to do anything with her cards. I'm going to hold on to her cards and leave everything just like that. And then I'm going to come over here to Iron Man. I will use the arc reactor to ready him. And he is part of this game area over here. But I'm going to ready him to thwart for 2. And then the Mark V helmet for 3 to take 3 off this imminent overload. And then I'm going to flip him to Iron Man so I can start getting rid of some of these obligations. Let's see. I definitely want to get rid of this stolen memory, so I'm going to discard a mental resource to get rid of the stolen memories and get some of my cards back. And then okay, so now I'm going to discard Luke Cage to get rid of one of these time travel hijinks. The one that gives me Nova back, I guess. And then when I was Iron Man, I used his basic power to thwart for 2. I'm not going to waste my last energy barrier, so he'll just take the damage. Drop him to 7. Okay, and I'm going to spend this power of protection to get rid of the weaken, so I don't keep having that problem, because I don't have any more, I only have one more energy barrier, reflection counter left. And I could get rid of my supersonic punch or my energy to get rid of this time travel hijinks, but I don't really want to do that. I want to use my supersonic punch later on. So I think I'm just going to hold on to these, ready him, and draw to 6. Okay, so we are at the start of the villain phase, and because they're in the same area, this is actually going to get 2, one from here and one from him and overload. So it's going to go from 6 to 8. And then she's the first player. He'll scheme against her. So it's going to be a scheme of 1. If the villain is making an undefended attack, choose and discard and upgrade your control. So he's not. He's scheming. That's going to be enough. So this will go off. And so now let's see what happens. Force response. After this stage is completed, place 1 set aside Kang's Dominion face down under stage 4A. Okay, so here are the Kang's Dominions. And it says, when defeated, deal the player who defeated this scheme an encounter card. And it comes in with 3 per player, so it'll have 6 threat on it. And this will go underneath 4A. And let me find that. Okay, so that's so here's 4A over here. And there's the Kang's Dominion. All right. And at the end of the phase, remove Kang in this stage from the game and combine your game area with another game area. Okay, if all the players at this stage are defeated, this stage is completed. So now this is something else that's interesting. He has to, it says at the end of the phase, remove Kang. So he's still got a scheme against Tony Stark, but this has been completed. But you don't remove it till the end of the phase. So I guess it still has technically a bunch of threat on it. So he's going to scheme, I guess, for 1, 2, 3 against Tony. So it's going to put 1 million more threat on here. And so now we're at the end of the phase. Now I discard Kang Ramatut, and then I remove this stage from the game and combine with another play area. But now they go and combine to the Master of Time play area. So we'll do that in a second. We'll remove this. And I know from the rules that when you go from Kang 2 to Kang 3, you discard all attachments and the tough. And that's why I did that, so I don't have to deal with those attachments and the tough. But I will have a Kang's Dominion over here to deal with. Hopefully I don't forget about that. So that's removed from the game. So now we're on the Master of Time. So players cannot join this game area unless there are no other game areas remaining. When all the players have joined this game area, advance to stage 4A. Okay, so now we're going to do that. And then 4A says, when revealed, reveal Kang 3. And he's buried over here somewhere. He'll come in. He's going to have 40 hit points. He'll come in with tough. And we'll go with the forced response stuff in a minute. But he does come in with toughness. And add him to the game area. Reveal each face down Kang's Dominion under this stage. So we're going to reveal this side scheme, which is, it comes in with 6. All right. And then that's all it says. And I'll turn this over. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck, discard pile, and set aside area for the Nemesis minion and puts it into play engaged with them. Shuffle the encounter deck. All right, Whiplash is already engaged with Tony Stark. And by the way, him and the Macrobots would have also schemed, but it would just put 1 million more. So we would end up about 1,500,620 threat on the scheme for Ramatut. So it would advance to 4A. And now I've got to get her Nemesis minion. And you get Jan Rog for Captain Marvel. And here's him. Oh, nope, that's not him. Sorry. Here's Jan Rog. He'll come in with 5 health. All right. And that's going to be it. Now, these 3 acceleration tokens will also go on the scheme. So at the start of the next villain phase, I'm gonna have to put 4 on here, and I lose if it gets to 20. So that's it. And then the first player token is gonna move over to Tony Stark, and we'll go to the next round. All right, so I think the first thing I'm gonna do on his turn is to do Futurist. Let's say get a Repulsor Blast, Med Team, and Energy Barrier. I'm gonna take an Energy Barrier mainly because I want an energy. I wanted to get an energy resource because I'm going to use it to pay off this time travel hijinks. But before I do, I'm going to exhaust Stark Tower to get the top tech upgrade, and that is going to be rocket boots. So I'll put that into his hand. And now I'm going to spend the energy resource from Energy Barrier to pay off this time travel hijinks. Let's see, discard an energy resource from your hand and then discard this obligation. So I'll do that, and then I'll discard this card, which will be an energy barrier. So maybe I can get that back into the game at some point. We'll see. All right, and then I'm going to put, I'm going to flip to Iron Man. Well, first I'm going to heal for 3 to bring him back up to 10. And then I'm going to flip him over to Iron Man. And let's see here. I want to go aerial. So I'm going to exhaust rocket boots, use this mental resource to be able to go aerial. And I'll worry about that in a minute. And then I'm going to put Iron Fist into play using Genius and Energy to pay for those 4 resources. And he'll come in with 3 hit points and 2 Mystic counters. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my arc reactor to ready Iron Man. I'm going to hit the Macrobots for 2 with the power gauntlet, so I'm going to drop him to 2. And then they're supposed to do retaliate 1, but I'm going to use my final reflective counter here on this energy barrier to prevent that damage and to put it back on to them to drop them down to 1. And then I'm going to use Iron Man himself to do 1 damage and knock these Microbots out of play, and they won't retaliate because he defeated them. And then I'm going to use the Mark V helmet to remove 1 threat from each scheme because I have the aerial trait, so it's going to get rid of imminent overload. And then it'll remove a threat from the King's Dominion over here. And then let's see. Use the Supersonic Punch, Pepper Potts for 1, the other one for 2, to go ahead and just take out Whiplash since I can do the damage to him. That'll take care of it, and I'll just save Iron Fist up for a future turn. Hopefully, I'll get to use him to stun Kang at some point, but we'll see what happens. So now that's all that Iron Man can do. And so we'll go over to Captain Marvel. All right, the first thing she's going to do is use her commander ability to draw a card. It's the Power of Justice. And I think I'm going to use the Alpha Flight Station to discard her Cosmic Flight here and let her draw 2 cards. So Photonic Blast and Strength. Okay? So let's see. Let's see what she's got in her hand here. I got a Strength, Photonic Blast, Power of Justice, Counterintelligence, Nick, Concussive Blast, Beat Cop, and Photonic Blast. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is have Jessica Jones. She can thwart for 2 because there's a side scheme out. So I'll have her thwart for 2 to drop this from 5 down to 3. All right, and let's see, here's a 3 over here. And then I'll flip to Carol Danvers and have her thwart for 2 to drop it down to 1. And let's see, Jan Rog is in play. I would like to get him out of the way. So I'm going to put in Nick Fury using Strength, Counterintelligence, and I guess a Beat Cop. So 2, 3, 4 to put him in. And when he comes in, I'll do his 4 damage to Jan Rog to drop him down to 1. But then I'm going to have him thwart for 2 to get rid of this King's Dominion. And so when defeated, deal the player who defeated this scheme an encounter card. Okay, so I guess I go in the discard pile. We'll deal the encounter card to Captain Marvel. So now I can start doing damage to Kang. And, and then when after side scheme is defeated, exhaust Skilled Investigator, draw a card. So I'll do that. Energy Channel, okay? But, okay, so I'm gonna use a concussive blow, using the Power of Justice and a Photonic Blast to pay for it. So that's gonna be 3, and it's just gonna knock the tough off, but it will still confuse him, which is really what I wanted to do. And then I'm gonna put Energy Channel into play. And I think I'll just hold on to the Photonic Blast. So that's going to be it. I'm going to ready everything and draw them back up to their hand size. Okay, so we're ready for the main phase, and I ran out of Iron Man's deck again, so he had to get an encounter card. But anyway, we got to put 4 threat, actually 2, 3, 4, 5 threat on the main scheme. 2 from here, and then 1 for each one of these acceleration tokens, which I don't even know how I got all 3 of them. I know 2 of them came because the deck ran out, but I don't know how I got the 3rd one, but it's there. So that's 5. And then he's going to attack Iron Man, and I don't want Iron Fist to take any damage. I want him to help stun and do damage. So I'm just going to have Iron Man defend this. I do have a Desperate Defense, so I'm going to use Desperate Defense and pay for it with Electrostatic Armor. So Iron Man has 3 defense, and I'm going to put when he attacks, I'm going to put a threat on the main scheme. So it's going to go up to 6. So it's just going to be an attack of 2. Just 2. So he only attacks for 2. Iron Man has a defense of 3, and that's enough to survive. And because I didn't take any damage, Iron Man will ready. And so I still have Iron Fist, and I still have Iron Man ready to do what he needs to do on his turn. Now Kang the Conqueror is going to attack. And I'm going to have Nick Fury take this. It's going to, and I'll also put, no, I'm just going to take the +2 attack. So it's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7. And that will knock Nick Fury out of the game. All right, we'll deal them encounter cards. Iron Man's first encounter card will be Time Travel Tactics. It will surge, and when revealed, each player takes 1 indirect damage for each obligation in their play area. So nobody has an obligation now, finally. And so that's good. So it'll just surge. And before I do that, I forgot that Yon Rog's supposed to attack and hit for 3. I'll just discard the Cosmic Flight to reduce that damage by 3 to prevent all of it. So we're good there. Okay, so that was his first one. And that Time Travel Tactics will surge into Ancient Warrior. He has a Quick Strike. Comes in with 2 health. He's going to deal 2 damage. And I will just have Iron Man take it, drop him down to 8. And then the other encounter card will be a Corrupted Time Stream. Players cannot trigger alter ego action abilities on obligations. When revealed, each player must either discard 1 card from hand or place 2 threat here. All right. At random from hand. I don't want him to do that. I don't want him to lose his Repulsor Blast. I'll just place 2 threat there for each one of the... I mean, they don't have obligations out right now, so let's see. So each player must either discard 1 random card or place 2 threat here. So it's going to be 2, 4, 6 that will go on to that side scheme. Okay, and then her card is going to be an Ancient Warrior. It will be Quick Strike. Come in with 2 health. And it's going to deal 2 damage to Captain Marvel, dropping her to 10. And then the other one is going to be Electromagnetic Backlash. When revealed, each player discards the top 5 cards of their deck. For each printed energy resource a player discards this way, that player takes 1 damage. Ouch. All right. Captain Marvel will do 1, 2, 3. That's all she has in her deck, but she's going to be dealt another encounter card because her deck just ran out. I'll shuffle that in a second. Iron Man's going to take, he's got 1, 2, there's an energy, 3, 4, 5. So he uncovered 2 energy, So this way they take 1 damage. So he'll take 2 energy damage, dropping him to 6. And that's going to do it for Electromagnetic Backlash. And then the other encounter card that she just drew because her deck ran out is Energy Blast. When revealed, Kang attacks you. All right, not good. She's at 10 health. She might be able to take it. I don't really want Jessica Jones to take this right now. So I'll just have her take the attack. I'll put a threat on the main scheme, bring it up to 7. He'll attack for 2, 3. So that will drop her down to 7. So she's at 7 and Iron Man is at 6. But we're finally back to the player phase. The first player token will move over to her, and I'm going to shuffle her deck and then move on to the hero turn. All right, so we're ready for Captain Marvel's turn. You're probably wondering why I didn't use Spycraft for any of the cards that came out just then, and it's because I keep forgetting about it. I keep forgetting it's way over here by itself, off on the other side of the table. But anyway, we are back to Captain Marvel, and I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play a Photonic Blast, and I want to go after him. I want to get him out of the way. Yes, I know I've got 2 minions, but I'm going to do a Photonic Blast using Energy Channel, Surveillance, and Concussive Blow. Actually, not Surveillance. Concussive Blow, Energy Channel, and Crisis Interdiction. So that's 3. And I'm going to deal the 5 damage to him to drop him down to 35. And because I used an energy resource, I get to draw a card. So it's going to be Beat Cop. Okay. I think I'm actually going to use the energy from Under Surveillance to heal her for 1 up to 8. And then that'll let me draw a card, and it is Mockingbird. All right. Let's see. Jessica Jones. She probably needs to thwart something. I'm not real worried about this Corrupted Time Stream because there aren't any obligations out in the game. So I'm going to have her thwart for 2 because she gets +1 for this size scheme. I'm going to take it off of the main scheme. And that'll drop her to 1. And then I will... I will use Alpha... Well, I'm going to have her attack for 2 to get rid of Jan Rog because he hits for 3. And then I will use Alpha Flight Station. No, I won't. I'm not going to use Alpha Flight Station. I'm just going to call that good for her. She's got 8 health. She has a blocker. I'm just going to leave these 2 cards there for now and probably leave them there. And now we're over to Iron Man. And let's see. And I think what I'm going to do with him, first thing is Iron Fist is going to attack basically for 3 and use a Mystic Counter to stun Kang and drop him down to 32. And then that'll drop him down to 2. Oh, by the way, when I defended with Iron Man on his last turn against Kang, I had this electrostatic armor. He should have taken a damage from that, and he did not have his tough. So he should actually be down to 31. Okay, I think that's right. So we'll do that. Then I'm going to go Aerial with Rocket Boots, discarding Unflappable, the mental resource, and use the Power Gauntlets to take out this Ancient Warrior. And then I am Aerial, so I'm going to thwart Iron Man for 2. Arc Reactor will ready him and make it 4, and the helmet will make it 5. So 5 off here, and then because I'm Aerial, the helmet can also take 1 off the Corrupted Time Stream. I'm going to put in a defensive stance using the Power of Protection. And then I'll just use Pepper Pots to generate a resource because I'm going to Repulsor Blast. And that will, so I'll discard, so it's going to do 1. I'm going to discard 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I got 3 energy resources. That's 2, 4, 6, 7 damage. And that will go to him, drop him from 31 to 24. All right, so we're getting there. And that's going to do it for everybody. I'll ready up and draw everyone up to their hand size. Okay, so start of the main villain phase. We've got to put 5 on here. 2 from this and 3 from the acceleration tokens. He's supposed to attack Captain Marvel, but he won't because he's stunned. And then he's supposed to attack Iron Man, and he will. And I'm going to put a threat on there so he only attacks for 2. And let's see. Yes, I'm going to defend with Iron Man. No, I'm not. I'm not going to defend. I am going to use a preemptive strike, though, probably. So it's going to be 2. Nope, you are stunned. The boost stuns him. So I won't be using a preemptive strike. It's only 2 damage. I will use the defensive stance, though, to negate. It could negate 3, but I'll just use it to negate that damage so he doesn't take anything. And that's going to do it. So I will deal the encounter cards out. Oh, by the way, this Ancient Warrior is supposed to hit Captain Marvel. So he'll hit her for 2, dropping her to 6. Now I'll deal the encounter cards. And her encounter card will be Manipulated Time Stream. Discard each event from your hand. If no events are discarded this way, this card gains Surge. Nasty. I do not have any events. So it will gain Surge. Into Time Travel Tactics. Each player takes 1 indirect damage for each obligation in their play area. There are none. But it does Surge. Into Advance. Well, he's supposed to scheme, but he's confused, so that's good. He won't scheme, so really nothing much happens to her on that time, even though 3 cards came out. Let's see what happens to Iron Man. Gang up. This card, so he's going to be attacked again. And he's got 6 health. Man, I don't want Iron Fist to take it. And I'm not going to. He's just going to... He's just going to take it. So I am going to put a threat on the scheme this time again. So he'll attack for 2. Give Kang a tough status card. So now Kang is tough. He takes 2 damage. And that's going to drop him down to 4. And we are back. And we'll move the token over here to Iron Man. And we are back to the hero phase. Okay, so on Iron Man's turn, I'm going to attack with the Power Gauntlets to knock the stun off of him. And then I'm going to attack with him to remove the tough. And then I'll ready him, thwart for 2, 3 off of the main scheme. So it's going to drop it from 7 to 4. Okay, and then, so I think we're okay there. And then I'm going to put in an energy barrier with Genius. And that'll bring 3 charges on for that, or 3 reflective counters. I'm going to use Pepper Pots to generate the Genius and put in another energy barrier, which will bring 3 counters on. So let's see, 1, 2, and I'll just use a threat token for the 3rd. All right, so that's those 2. And then I'm going to put in a defensive stance with energy. And I think I'm going to hold on to the 2 cards that he has. And then I'll attack with Iron Fist. He'll deal 3 damage, dropping him to 21. And remove this Mystic counter, drop him to 1, and that will stun Kang. So now he's at 21 health and he's stunned. I'm hoping I'm okay there. And that's all I can do, I think, with Iron Man. So I'll leave him there on that side. I think he's going to be okay. Even though he's at 4 health, Kang is stunned, so he won't get attacked this first time, and I do have a blocker. So we're going to leave it there. And we're going to go over to Captain Marvel. And I'm ready to push for the win. So I'm going to use all 5. I got 5 energy resources here. I'm going to spend all 5 of them to put them on the energy channel. And then when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and use energy channel to deal 10 damage to Kang over here, dropping him from 21 to 11. And then I'm going to have Captain Marvel attack for 2 to get rid of this Ancient Warrior. And I'll leave Jessica Jones like that in case I need her to block. I'm actually probably going to have Iron Man block for her, and you'll see why in a minute. But I'm going to leave her there in case I need to block. So I think that's it. I'm going to ready and draw back up to their hand sizes. Okay, so start of the main villain phase. Have to put 5 threat on the main scheme to bring it up to 9. He's supposed to attack Iron Man, but he's stunned, so he won't. He will attack Captain Marvel, but Iron Man's going to defend this. And I'll just let it take +2 attack, so it's going to be an attack of 4. And it's going to be, let's see, 4, 5 total damage. So I'm going to use an energy barrier, a reflector counter from this energy barrier and one from here to prevent 2 of that 5 and knock it back to him. So that's going to drop him down to 9. Okay, so that means it's 3 to 1, right? Let's see, he did 5, and I just prevented 2, so that's 3 to 1, and so I'll use this defensive stance to prevent the rest of that damage. All right, so I have my full card hand, and he didn't take any damage, although he won't be able to ready. Oh, electrostatic armor, I did defend, so he goes, takes 1 more damage from that, dropping him to 8. All right, so that's it for the attacks. So we'll deal out the encounter cards. And Iron Man's will be a pin down, when revealed, place 2 threat here for each obligation in play. But there aren't any obligations, so we'll just put 2 threat on there because that's what it'll come in with. And then Captain Marvel, her encounter card will be weakened. So now we have an obligation, and when she uses her basic hero power, she takes 1 damage. But I don't think it's going to matter too much because he only has 1 health left. We are going to move the token over here to Captain Marvel. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for it. Jessica Jones is going to attack for 2. She's going to attack for 2. That's 4. It's going to knock Jessica Jones out of the game, but drop him down from 8 to 4. And then, let's see. Oh, well, she'll take a damage because of the weakened, so that drops her to 5. And it looks like she's not going to be able to take him out of the game. So I'm going to put in Mockingbird using 3 resources. Well, actually, before I do that, I'm going to discard the energy resource to heal her 1 up to 6 and draw a card, and it's a Cosmic Flight. So, no, I'm not going to be able to. Looks like she won't be able to take him out. Put in Mockingbird. Spend 3 resources. She'll come in with 3 and stun him. I'll have Mockingbird attack him for 1, which will drop him down to 3. And wow, he doesn't have any way. He doesn't have any way to go aerial, but he does have a repulsor blast, and he does have Iron Fist. So the game's going to be over. Iron Fist will attack for 2, and his Power Gauntlet will attack for 1. I don't think I have any guards in play. Nothing. Let's see. There's no King's Dominions. Nothing that keeps me from doing damage to him that I can see. The Corrupted Time Stream doesn't. The Pin Down doesn't. Nope, it doesn't. So Iron Fist 2, Power Gauntlet 3, and that's the game. And now I'm going to give you my thoughts on this scenario that I've played against Kang. Well, that was the game, and I think I won the game. And the reason why I'm saying that I think is because there's a lot going on in that playthrough. I mean, cards everywhere on the table, on my side, on his side. And of course, I know I was playing Iron Man. He has a lot of cards out already, but just cluttered with cards, a lot of different things I have to keep up with in that game. And I had actually heard and read online that there are a lot of things to keep up in that game, a lot of rules to have to remember as you play through against Kang, and I agree, that seemed to be the case. Just a lot going on. And if I was going to describe the playthrough I just did in one word, that word would be chaotic. Just a lot of things going on, a lot to do, a lot to keep up with. And really, for me, that's kind of a negative, because one of the strengths of Marvel Champions is that there isn't a lot to keep up with, in my opinion. Now, I am used to playing just solo with 1 hero, and so maybe that's the reason why I say that and feel that way. And this was actually, keep in mind with this negative opinion that you've heard so far, that this is the first time I've ever played solo with 2 heroes. It's also the first time I've ever played against Kang in any form. So I was new on both of those accounts, and I'm sure that has a lot to do and has an effect on why I have the opinion I do of the playthrough. But the fact of the matter is, I didn't really enjoy the playthrough all that much because of everything that was going on, because all I had to keep up with. I mean, I hope I didn't make a lot of rules mistakes, and I hope I didn't make any major rules errors, but I'm sure I did make some mistakes because there was so much to keep up with. And I probably covered up cards that I forgot about that I should have been triggering because of all the cards that were on the table. And, and to me, that is a negative for Marvel Champions. Some games you go into them, some cooperative games, there's a lot you have to keep up with. Sentinels of the Multiverse is an example of that. I know when I play that, if I play with the cards, the physical game, there's going to be a lot to keep up with. But with Marvel Champions, as I said, when I play with one hero, it doesn't really seem to be that bad. Maybe two heroes is kind of like the game that you just saw. Again, that was my first playthrough ever by myself with two heroes. So maybe it is normally like that, but it sure felt like a lot was going on, a lot more than normal against other scenarios. And so, yeah, not really a very good first impression. Now, I want to emphasize, though, that my opinion is a first impression. And it is only of playing solo with two different heroes, or solo two-handed, as a lot of people call it. So it is a negative experience for me, even though I won. I mean, I'm glad I won, but it was still a negative experience. But at that particular way of playing, because I suspect that if I would have had someone else playing with me, like if someone else had been controlling Captain Marvel, for example, while I was Iron Man, I think I would have had more fun because they could have helped me keep up with all the rules, help me keep up with the interactions. And also have been more cool to me, I think, when we split up into the different timelines and the different play areas. Where I couldn't have helped that person wouldn't have been able to help me. I think that would have been more interesting than playing by myself, having to control both of the heroes, because I really didn't feel like they were separated. But, so I think playing with other people, it's probably not that big of a deal, the fact that there's so much going on. Probably don't really notice as much, but I did notice it by myself with solo two-handed. But I also think that if I play this with one hero, it'll be fun because, first of all, that is how I'm used to playing the game. I usually play with just one hero. I enjoy playing the game with just one hero. That's another strength, in my opinion, of Marvel Champions, is that I think the game does work well from one hero, even on difficulty levels like Expert, which is how I like to play the game. I enjoy playing usually on Expert. This last game was on Standard because it was my first time against the scenario. But we'll be playing it at some point on Expert with one hero and be looking out because I'm going to be filming that playthrough. And I'm actually looking forward to playing it with one hero against Kang on Expert just to see how I do. Because I think it's just going to naturally be less to have to worry with, less to have to deal with and keep up with. And also, again, that's how I prefer to play the game. So I think I'll enjoy it because of that. So, even though my first impression really wasn't that great of the scenario pack, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. I recommend that you take it with a grain of salt because, again, I've played solo two-handed, which is not my normal way of doing it. And so I still think the pack is a great pack. I mean, you get those modular sets. You do get the middle section there where there's good replayability there. Even solo, there's a good chance you're going to get a different King too each time you play, and so that's going to make it unique. That's going to make it feel fresh, and I think it's going to be a challenge. That standard game that I just did, it wasn't a pushover. It was a pretty decent challenge for a standard scenario. And so I'm sure Expert's going to be quite a challenge, especially with one hero. And that's cool. That's fine with me. Looking forward to it. Green Goblin Mutagen formula is very challenging on Expert, and I like that. Ultron Expert is challenging, and I like that. And so I think Expert King is going to be challenging. I'm looking forward to it. So, but you get you're going to have a little bit of replayability just because of the different King 2s that can come out. And then you have the standard 1, 2, and 3 of King that you'll play because that's how you have to play it. And then they have expert cards with a 1, 2, and 3 that you can play. So there's good replayability in the pack. You get the modular sets. I think it's going to be a good pack. I got high hopes for it still. I am looking forward to it still. It's just My recommendation is don't play it solo 2 players with 2 heroes. If that's how you're used to playing, if you normally play solo 2-handed, it may not be a big deal for you. You may not even think it's a problem. But, if you don't normally play solo 2 hero, I would say don't do that. And I don't think I'm going to do it again. I actually had thought before I filmed this playthrough, I had considered doing a 2 hero playthrough by myself on standard and then doing a 2 hero playthrough against expert. But I'm not going to do that. I don't think I want to play this particular scenario with 2 heroes again. I'm just going to play it with 1 hero, and I think that'll be fine enough. But that's just a small little negative on just one playthrough, one first impression. It's not bad enough of a first impression to keep me from wanting to try it again, and it's not going to keep me from recommending it. I still think it's going to be a good pack, and from what I've read online at different places, there is a lot of positive feedback about the Kang scenario pack. So, if you haven't bought it and you're thinking about it, I would recommend go ahead and get it. I think it will be fun for you and your group. So that's my thoughts on the game, and that's my playthrough. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. If you did, please consider to like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell, because I will be having a solo game against Expert Kang coming up soon. So you'll want to know when that's coming out. Make sure you hit the notification bell. And until I do any future playthroughs, I'll save you a seat at the table. Goodbye.